How's it going, guys? So I'm gonna go through basically frame by frame my latest run through the Highwind race. There are a lot of details and decisions that I make that I don't think are apparent, so I wanted to try and go over them here. I'm not sure if I'll do this for all the other maps yet, but I want to do it at least once. And some of what I'll go over can still be applied to some of the other races as well. So I've got the recording set up in this application called Shortcut, which is a really basic editor. Makes it easy to step through. Um, so let's see here. Skip ahead. There's not a whole lot to talk about in the beginning, I guess. Um, like all the others, just try and sprint at the start as fast as you can. Well, I can make a quick note about this little ledge here. Every now and then, because you kind of bump up it, every now and then you'll hit it and it actually slows you down some. It's really rare, but something to keep in mind. If that happens to me, I usually just restart right there. It's not worth continuing, even though it's really a minor thing. So right off the bat, purple portal on this wall. And your portal sequence is up to you. I'm just going to go over what I have with my sequence here. But for the most part, it doesn't really matter. As long as you're consistent. Being consistent is what will make things easier for you. Now my yellow portal goes up on the top wall, and I put it a little to the right. And the reason for that is it's really small, but I think it should be a shorter distance to the next wall over there. Really minor, but it's an easy thing to do, so why not? Now as you jump, and you have to jump because there's a ledge there, or a drop, I mean. And I like to do a little bit of a jetpack pulse just to get a little extra air time. While flying through the air, it preserves your momentum in the direction that we want to be going here. And we aim at this wall over here, and the goal is to put, I'm going to use my purple portal, I'm going to put it as far to the left and down as possible. So this bottom left corner is where I'm trying to aim. And the reason for that is when you come through this next portal, you want, it'll give you as big of a gap here as possible when you stick that purple portal as far left. As you're going through this, you want to already be trying to aim for this. The goal is to hit the yellow portal here before grabbing this. Let's see if I manage to do that here. Not quite, but that is the goal. And the reason for that is you don't want to waste any time aiming on this. Once you grab this ball, you want to be turning around already. So I was a little slow here, but not by much. And turn around and walk through here. I believe, see, do I sprint? I think sometimes I sprint, but you gotta be careful sprinting. You don't want to step out of this portal too far. And then as soon as possible, you want to purple portal this wall. Now, ideally, because of what's going to happen next, I think you'd want this portal as far to the right as possible to be close to this wall. And then as soon as you hit that, you'll be turning around. And looks like I flew out of this a little farther than I needed to, so there's probably some more room for optimization here. You don't want to step too far away from this back wall because it just takes extra time to come back to it. Replace the yellow, since placing it was way too high. So walk through, turn left, and place the purple, because you got the yellow still back there. And I forgot to say, you want this yellow to actually be as close to the middle of this wall as possible, because that'll be the shortest distance to this ball when you go through it. So we come through, and hopefully we don't come through too much. As soon as we grab it, we want to be able to turn around again. And actually, look, it looks like I was a little slow here too, but you want to place the purple at this far wall as soon as possible. Yeah, see, that's some extra time that I didn't need to spend here. If I had managed to place it right about here, I was aiming too low. If I had placed it right here, I could have turned around as soon as I grabbed that ball. So I could have already been turning around at this point if I was fast enough with the purple. And then we run through. And then this sort of marks the end of the beginning section for me. So when I come through this portal, I usually glance at the clock just to kind of get an idea of how I'm doing. So you want to be hitting this orb so sometime around at this point. This was actually a pretty good run for me. Usually around 10 seconds or less is not bad. Getting less than 9 is ideal. I know it can be done in less than this. In fact, it can be done like 8.5. And I have my second best run here, where I managed to grab this at just over 8.5. I think we can walk through this real quick.
2, 1.
So this is my second best run, which I did much better in the beginning for, but I made some mistakes near the end, so it didn't quite beat it. See, this one was 33.188. Oh, something else I forgot to mention is mouse positioning. Now it's going to be different depending on your sensitivity and what kind of space you have available, but at the start, I like to have my mouse a little over to the left of kind of the center. There's just more left than usual, and that's because of the right turns that have to be made. So you don't want too far left because of this first left turn, but you're only turning 90 degrees, so that's fine. Let's see if I was better at this one. See, I'm already aiming at it, and then I place it right at the same time, so that was pretty close. So that was not bad. You want to spend as little time aiming on these kind of portals when you have to turn around to go through another one. So you got to place it as soon as you can. So that's the first big right turn. This is a 180-degree right turn. So that's why the mouse needs to be over to the left to start with for me. That was not a great purple positioning, but it's not a huge deal. And you want this purple one to be as high as possible, so you spend as little time outside of it. So overall, pretty similar, but it was decent amount faster. Yeah, like almost 0.3 seconds or something. Anyway, alright. Be careful of this ledge as you continue through. You gotta take it a little wide or you can kind of get caught on it. And I start turning early. There's no need to run right into it. Your hitbox extends, you know, past your screen, so you can still get it like that. Oh, and I just remembered, because okay, there's a point that's about to come up that comes up back here as well that I can mention. So the yellows here come out of the purple. Something to be careful of is to not place this next purple one too soon. That's because you're just coming out of it. If you're halfway outside of this portal and you place the purple portal, it can close while you're still in the middle of it, and it'll stop your momentum, which can cost you quite a bit of time. So if you're placing the color of portal that you're exiting, make sure you fully exited the portal before placing it. And that comes up here. So, and this actually, the previous spot, it can't really be avoided because you need that yellow portal to still stay where it was. In this spot, it's going to come up again, but that was kind of a mistake on my part. I didn't really choose a very optimal portal color sequence here. But by that time I realized the problem is, I figured it wasn't really worth changing because it can just be avoided by waiting a little. So I placed my purple again right here, and it's not a huge problem, but as long as I'm careful to go far enough out before placing it, it's fine. Just every now and then I'll place this one a little too quickly and it'll kind of ruin a run for me, but something to be careful of. Yeah, so purple there, quick flick to place the yellow one, and then This is a tricky section. And now ideally, you'd be placing the purple one here almost as soon as you see it. Now, I didn't quite make it in time, but I didn't place it that much more slowly. This was similar to in the beginning, where you want to hit this portal as soon as possible, so that you don't have to waste time after grabbing this. Ideally, you want to be turning around immediately after you grab it, of course. Let's see, was there anything else? Okay. Well, I'll just say on the same note, if you miss that or something, you can end up you'll end up like just backing up trying to hit this again, and that can waste a lot of time. That's kind of why you want to do that as soon as you see it. And this is another big right turn coming up. So usually when I get to about this point, I need to shift my mouse to the left again, and so I have it pretty far left at this point. So I can turn right there, and then another big right turn there. And then I'm like all the way on the other side of my mouse pad. Now there is a thing you can do, since you just turned right here. So you're here, you turned right. There is an option where you can turn left instead right after you go through this. It saves you some mouse space, but I think it's slightly slower because it ruins the sprint. You have to re-sprint after you do that. So I do the full turn. And then I do not jump when coming off of this. And I haven't confirmed whether this is actually better or whether it's better to jump. Because of because of how much you're going to be flying through the air, I could see it being possible that, that extra velocity you get from the extra height could make up for the extra time spent from the jump. But yeah, that's not something I've confirmed. So for now, I've just been walking off. And then something to be careful of here. I guess ideally you'd place the purple right after you step off the ledge, so placing the purple here. But otherwise, you can aim beneath here, and you just have to be careful. I think those little dangly bits can sometimes get in the way. So it's good to take an extra fraction of a second or two to kind of make sure you're placing that right. Oh, I narrowly missed that ledge. And then yellow here. And then this is something you're just going to have to kind of get a feel for over time, is how, it's kind of how much forward and back you press to kind of speed up or slow down and change the angle that you go through this. You don't want to be you don't want to be holding forward too much, or you're going to be catching too much air and you're going to hit the ledge above right there. I hit this almost perfectly somehow. Yeah, it's just kind of taking some practice to get used to. And then feathering the jetpack, and now you want to stop feathering the jetpack as soon as possible. And what I mean is, as quickly as possible, you want to set up your trajectory to be going toward that yellow portal. And the reason for that is you want your jetpack to replenish, because you're going to need it after coming through the other side. So I managed to line that up all the way back here. It's like that was the last time I touched my jetpack. Oh, I touched it right here, just a little bit, just to make sure I got through. So I was getting really close to hitting the edge. You want as much jetpack as you can through here. So this is where things get interesting. You can kind of skip off the ground. I guess I think it has to do with the angle and the speed you're traveling. And I'm pretty sure you have to have some jetpack for it, because it like redirects your velocity. So I press the jetpack there, and it sends me shooting forward, and then again there. So that's twice, just to kind of using your jetpack to sort of skim off the ground. And there are some situations where it can actually, if you do it right, I still haven't fully explored how this works, but you can gain quite a lot of forward velocity. It's kind of surprising. But you don't want too much, because you actually want to stop here. Yeah, quickly purple, turn around, back to the yellow. Careful of the little hanging lantern thing. Oh, it used to be like an orange lantern, didn't it? Before the update? It was recent. Anyway, I guess they changed it. So careful of that. Purple there, yellow there, fly through there. I use my jetpack a little just to kind of preserve some of that speed. A quick little jump. So this portal, you want to jump in jetpack so you can get that portal as low and to the left as possible. This is kind of a tricky maneuver, at least at first. So yellow goes there, and I'm trying to get as much over the yellow portal as I can. When I go through, I want to be going with a slightly downward direction almost. So I'm entering this actually pretty straight, because that doorway is really small, and you want to not touch the ground here at all. So I just barely missed the doorway, and you just feather the jetpack, trying not to hit anything, and fly right into there. And for some reason, there's not really a good reason, I kind of just like stopped touching the mouse at that point. And then I just control my movement and jetpack to go through. That's pretty much it. Let me I can make a comment about actually my second best run here. See, they only differed by like 0.2 ish. So so actually comparing both my top two runs, I can kind of get an idea of you know what sort of time is possible, at least for me, because there's actually a pretty big difference, and I think it's like up to this point. Actually, okay, yes. Why don't we use this? So this was at 24.053. So I was almost half a second faster at this point on my first, or my second best run. You know, it doesn't look like much, but it adds up. What ended up messing up for me here was going through this spot. I kind of got caught there. I took too long there. Because now if you look at how long to get to the 25, it's at 25.393. Notice it's only 0.1 second difference now. So I lost a lot of time there somehow. But if I take the best times for each one, you know, I get a value of almost 32 seconds flat. So, you know, potentially this map could be done almost a whole second faster, at least using the techniques I have here. Though it takes a lot of effort at this point to get those last few seconds. And the run is almost already as close to perfect as I can reasonably get it. You know, maybe if I took another couple weeks I could get it, but I'll probably end up moving on to a different one for now and then coming back to this one at some point later. Alright, well, we can watch the second best too while we're at it. It was pretty similar.
1.
I just kind of did the beginning a lot better. And then whipped the end. Oh wait. Got the right sound going. took way too long there. Oh, and also flew a lot slower through there, somehow. Maybe I didn't go high enough before falling through. Alright, anyway, I think that's everything I wanted to cover. Let me know if it's helpful, and maybe I can do some other ones at some point. Alright, see you later.